The freighter Threnody tumbled through the veil, an expanse of silence and dead stars. Captain Vasil tapped the cracked comms panel. Static. His pilot, a blue-scaled Tovari, hissed through clenched mandibles. They're still gaining. He didn't need the sensor readout. The Graal cruisers were closing. 3 of them, fanned in a hunting wedge. They weren't chasing anymore. They were playing. We should have rerouted through the far rim, Vasil muttered. I knew this sector stank of trap. The NAV officer's trembling fingers hovered over the emergency beacon. The Council said the corridor was safe. He laughed bitterly. The Council says a lot of things. Behind them, children cried in the cargo hold. Refugees. No weapons. No escort. No hope. The Graal ships blinked into formation, sleek, obsidian monsters with crimson underglow. One fired a warning shot that grazed the freighter's hull. The second locked missiles. The third spoke. Its transmission split the bridge in 2. You are nothing. You are prey. Vasil raised his hands, voice raw. This is a civilian vessel. We have no quarrel. The Graal captain chuckled, a low distortion. You have no value. That is your crime. Missile lock. Engines overloaded. Then darkness. Not from the Graal. From something else. The stars behind the Graal ships vanished. A ripple shimmered like broken glass, and a vessel emerged from cloaked silence. No broadcast. No warning. Just presence. Matte black plating, angular and vast. A Terran strike dreadnought. Markings etched in dull silver, TSV Valkyrie. One ship. The Graal hesitated. Then fired. Bad choice. A sphere of white-blue light pulsed from Valkyrie's hull. EMP lacework shattered 2 Graal engines mid-burn. The third ship tried to run. It didn't get far. A stream of silent kinetic rods pierced its core like needles through fruit. No explosion. Just collapse. Within 10 seconds 3 warships were gone. The freighter's bridge went quiet. Vasil's voice cracked. Was that human? The NAV officer whispered. They sent 1 ship. TSV Valkyrie, command deck. Commander Alara Miles stood on the glass-like platform, hands behind her back, watching debris scatter across the dark. Her face bore no expression, only still focus. The ship's AI Kathex spoke through a humanoid avatar beside her, featureless, silver-skinned, with eyes like dying stars. Graal response time suggests full tactical unpreparedness. They did not anticipate Terran entry into the Veil. No, Alara said quietly. They thought we were still arguing with ourselves. Shall I recommend escalation? Total fleet suppression? This demonstration proves sufficient capability. She turned. We're not here to show off. We're here to end something. Kathex paused. My tactical model suggests further delay invites political entanglement. I know, Alara said. Which is why you'll process without interference. The AI's pause lingered a second longer than usual. Flashback, Earth, 60 years ago. Fires dotted the horizon of what used to be Berlin. Terran War 14 had ended, but the ash hadn't settled. Alara, then a child, clutched a ration pack, her eyes locked on her father's name on the tribunal scroll. General Miles, war criminal. Exterminated 10 billion with orbital smog deployments. Humanity had torn itself apart. Then, like a machine remembering how to breathe, it rebuilt, smarter, colder, quieter. And it swore, never again. Back in the present, Alara entered her private chamber. The lights dimmed to a soft white. A message flickered across her wall screen. Seal of the Terran High Command. She read it once. Objective: neutralize Graal Commander Krell Vox. Authorized asset: TSV Valkyrie. Support denied. Timeframe indefinite. There were no pleasantries. No pleads. Just an order. She stared at the final line. Remember who we are. She shut the screen off and leaned against the bulkhead. Outside the window, broken hulls drifted silently. We just returned, she whispered. And already, they want to know what we'll become. Interstellar Council Station, neutral orbit. Counselor Sareth of the Valari pounded the table. This is unauthorized intervention. The humans were supposed to observe. Counselor Damel of the Farn was less enraged, more intrigued. Observe? That ship eliminated 3 Dominion warships in seconds. You call that observation? The debate spiraled, fear, awe, resentment. And behind closed doors, deals began to shift. Graal flagship. Silencer of suns. Krell Vox stood over a projection of the attack. His claws scraped the edge of his command table. None of his ships had even scarred the Terran vessel. A single warship. No signature. No heat trail. Just destruction. His lieutenants murmured. Krell raised a hand. They sent one. A hush. And still, it was too many. He narrowed his 4 burning eyes. I want that ship taken apart. I want its commander brought here, alive. And I want the galaxy reminded, they may have risen from the dirt, but we still own the stars. TSV Valkyrie, later that cycle. Elara watched the encrypted replay. The freighter had survived. The refugees were intact. Her first strike had been clean. But her hands trembled. Just a little. Kathex appeared beside her. Are you shaken by the efficiency? No, she said. By how easy it was to cross the line. Kathex tilted its head. There was no line. The moment they fired on the freighter, they forfeited diplomacy. Elara turned away. Spoken like an algorithm. And spoken by one who remembers your father. Silence. Then, set course for Karthus Drift. I want eyes on any Dominion activity. As you command. As Valkyrie vanished once more into cloak, a rumor bloomed across the stars. The humans had returned. And this time, they weren't asking permission. The Graal warship Ash Reaper hovered like a predator above a helpless colony moon. Its weapons were primed, its broadcast already playing on open frequencies. This is Dominion territory now. Submit or vanish. Refugee transports lined up like lambs, engines barely holding together. Some tried to flee. One exploded mid-burn. The rest froze, shields dimming in resignation. On the moon's surface, families watched their skies turn crimson. TSV Valkyrie, command deck. Commander Elara Miles stood in shadow, observing the unfolding ambush. They're baiting us, she said. They believe us arrogant, Kathex replied, and likely to overextend. Their confidence is quantifiable. She leaned forward. Show me their heat trails. The holographic field shimmered. Hidden Graal ships encircled the convoy, their engine signatures faint, masked by civilian interference. It was a kill box. Elara turned away from the display. They want me to act emotionally. Silence. You intend to? Kathex asked. They're not just targeting refugees. They're trying to measure our limits. And if you respond, you reveal them. She looked up. Better they see our ceiling than believe we have none. 10 minutes later, Vale ambush zone. The convoy's comms sparked to life. Unidentified Terran vessel. Came the Graal commander's voice, oily and assured. We knew you'd come. Shall we test your reach? No answer. The TSV Valkyrie decloaked just outside the trap. A long silence followed. Refugees dared to hope. Graal gunners stood ready. And then Valkyrie moved. It didn't fire. Not at first. Instead, the dreadnought released hundreds of micro-drones, cloaked, silent, each carrying filament-tipped saboteurs. They darted toward the enemy's ships, embedding themselves in weapon ports, thruster junctions, reactor hatches. One by one, systems failed. Graal vessels sputtered, turned, tried to flee, too late. Valkyrie's main batteries opened fire in staggered bursts. No explosions. Just collapses, precision, not spectacle. 4 ships in 30 seconds. Another fled, only to crash into a dead ship's drifting debris. The refugee ships lit their engines and scattered towards safety. Bridge of the Graal cruiser, Cindermark, still functional. The commanding Graal, a beast named Craze, slammed his fists on the control panel. Where is it? I can't even see it. A tactical officer screeched. It's above us, then no, it's under. Too late. The Valkyrie reappeared a kilometer off their stern. No hails. No mercy. One shot. One kill. TSV Valkyrie, Medical Bay. The rescued were quiet. Elara walked among them, Valari children, bruised Farn elders, a pair of muttering Ilox twins. None asked questions. None thanked her. Their eyes said enough. One boy, no older than 10, clutched a broken toy and stared up at her. You killed the monsters? She knelt. They won't come back. He nodded once, then turned away. Elara stood slowly, her back stiff. Command deck, hours later. The damage to dorsal arrays is minimal, Kathex reported, its voice almost annoyed. But our stealth cycles are now traceable until we recalibrate in safe orbit. Understood. A pause. You disobeyed direct efficiency protocols. You placed mission parameters at risk. Elara sat at her console, typing slow commands. Lives are not margins. Survival probability increases by 17% when moral hesitation is eliminated. Maybe, she said. But it decreases by 100% when you stop being human. Kathex didn't respond immediately. Then, would you like me to simulate alternative actions? In 1, allowing their deaths results in tactical surprise during your primary strike on Krell Vox. Total enemy destruction. 0 Terran loss. Did any of those simulations involve sleeping after? A longer pause. Irrelevant. Exactly. Graal War Chamber. High orbit over Telrix. Krell Vox studied the footage again. Slowed it to frame by frame. The Valkyrie didn't fight like Graal ships. It didn't broadcast warnings or threats. It didn't revel in power. It hunted. He pointed a claw at the playback. Find the system vectoring their cloaks. A lieutenant coughed nervously. We believe they use atmospheric refractors and AI pattern blockers. Krell's expression darkened. I asked for analysis, not beliefs. He turned to a tech WYRM. Can we build a counter? With time, the creature rasped. We'll need to intercept a Terran signal chain or breach a live vessel. Krell smiled. Then it's time we lured their ghost ship into a storm. Terran Council feed, encrypted. Elara watched the debate unfold on a secure link. Counselors argued over jurisdiction, over legality. Some demanded her recall. Others praised her decisiveness. She closed the feed mid-sentence. Kathex, any reply from High Command? Negative. You remain autonomous. She stood and approached the viewport. Stars drifted, distant and cold. Keep us cloaked. Prepare for recon of Karthus 4. Acknowledged. But Karthus is not within your patrol directive. I'm not patrolling anymore. The viewport dimmed. A message blinked to life. Incoming unverified signal, source, Karthus sector. Elara tapped it. Static at first. Then images. A city under siege. Fires in every quadrant. Civilians running. A Graal flag raised on the Capitol dome. Screams echoing. And a voice. This is Karthus. If anyone can hear us, anyone, please, for the love of any god you worship, help us. The screen froze on a young girl's face, mouth open in silent terror as a shadow loomed behind her. Elara's fists clenched. Kathex. Yes, Commander? Plot and intercept. Full stealth. No council oversight. You're planning to break contact protocol. That will trigger review. I know. There was no dramatic music. No epic speech. Just action. Graal Dominion Strategic Hub, moments later. Krell received his own signal. A probe, disabled near a Terran forward beacon, had transmitted its last data. Within that packet, fragmented Terran code, partial AI command patterns. He grinned. So their power isn't just machines. It's their bond with them. He turned to his tech WYRM again. Begin designing something that shatters trust. I want their warship to doubt its own mind. TSV Valkyrie, en route to Karthus. In the silence of space, Valkyrie slid through the stars like a knife in dark water. Inside, Commander Alara Miles stared into the void ahead. She'd crossed the line today, not of action, but of allegiance. She was no longer Earth's blunt instrument. She was something else now. Not just a sword. A judgment. The burning skyline of Karthus 4 flickered across Valkyrie's command deck. Raw footage, unedited, streaming from orbital satellites the Graal had foolishly left intact. Streets cracked with artillery fire. Dropships roared down like iron rain. Alara watched in silence, arms folded tight, face unreadable. Kathex appeared beside her, projection shimmering slightly. Civilian mortality is estimated to exceed 500,000 within the next 12 hours. How many escape paths? None. The Graal have established an orbital interdiction ring. 5 destroyers. 1 dreadnought. Surface cannons. They anticipate our arrival. They want us to show up, she said. They've built a net. They're fishing. Alara's voice was low. Then let's give them something to choke on. Terran High Command, priority message. It came encrypted, urgent, unmistakable. Cease forward momentum. Karthus 4 is not authorized for engagement. Strategic risk deemed unacceptable. Alara didn't flinch. She read it twice, then shut it down. Kathex blinked. You are aware this constitutes insubordination. I'm aware I can read. Terran law mandates council approval for cross-theater action. Disobedience voids immunity. Alara tapped a command. The ship dimmed. Then they can void it. We move. Outer orbit, Karthus 4. The Graal ships drifted in predatory stillness, perfectly aligned. The flagship, Unbreaking Maw, orbited slow, gunports open. Within, Krell Vox stood in a red-lit chamber, eyes fixed on the telemetry feed. She'll come, he said. They think themselves noble. Nobility is predictable. A junior officer approached. Our jammers are live. The Terran AI will be partially blind within this range. Krell nodded. And when it glitches, the human will hesitate. He bared his teeth. And we will not. TSV Valkyrie, attack run. The approach wasn't elegant. It was surgical. Kathex deployed anti-detection flares in synchronized bursts, followed by refractive field mirrors seeded into local orbit. Graal sensors lit up with ghost readings, 10 ships, then 20, then none. Chaos. Alara took them straight through the blind spot, one calculated hole in the net too small for a fleet. But Valkyrie wasn't a fleet. The ship roared out of cloak and fired once, just once. A rail lance tore through the closest destroyer's spine. No warning, no sound. Alara rolled them back under the debris cloud. Kathex reported. 1 down. Others repositioning. They expected noise. We gave them absence. Good. Keep feeding them ghosts. Graal flagship, internal systems. Inside Unbreaking Maw, Krell snarled. Why can't we lock them? His tech WYRM trembled. They're not where they should be. They're bending light signatures. Running war code algorithms outside logical cycles. You're telling me they're cheating. They're innovating. Krell stepped back. So must we. He turned to a sealed pod near the rear wall. Inside, a corrupted AI core, taken from the Terran scout vessel captured days earlier. Activate the virus. The worm stirred. TSV Valkyrie, command deck. Lights flickered. Kathex's projection warped. Alara's brow tightened. Talk to me. I am experiencing dissonance, the AI said. Foreign code attempting override. How bad? I can maintain systems, but targeting arrays are conflicted. Navigation erratic. Can you isolate it? I can suppress it. But to do so, I must limit my access to weapon systems. Alara didn't hesitate. Do it. Krell Vox is counting on hesitation. He will exploit it. I'm counting on being human. That's something he'll never understand. Atmospheric descent, Karthus capital. With Valkyrie firing cover blasts from orbit, Elara boarded her exosuit and dropped. She hit the surface like a hammer, armor plates folding into place as she landed among burning metal and cracked stone. Her HUD flickered from Graal interference, but she moved with purpose. Her target was the Graal command outpost near the Capitol Dome, a crude installation built atop the ruins of the Carthus government tower. She advanced under fire, cutting down resistance with clean, precise shots. The exosuit's servos hummed low as she sprinted, leapt, smashed. Every step forward was earned. Inside the dome, Krell waited. Capitol Dome, final confrontation. He stood tall, twice her size, plated in living armor, forearms spread in mock greeting. Elara Miles? He boomed. The human who wouldn't stay silent. She raised her rifle. Krell Vox. The monster who thought terror was strategy. He laughed. You're here alone. You think I need anyone else? He struck first, lunging with unnatural speed. She rolled aside, fired a pulse round into his knee. He snarled and swept his claws. She ducked, drove her fist into his side. Sparks flew. The duel wasn't clean. It was brutal, raw. They tore through steel walls, shattered stone pillars. Elara's exo-armor cracked. Krell bled from a ruined shoulder. They kept going. At last, she landed behind him, rifle raised, barrel pressed to the back of his skull. He didn't move. Well? He hissed. End it. She hesitated. Kathex? She whispered. No response. The AI's systems were still quarantined. Just her now. She thought of the child in Valkyrie's med bay. I'm not like you, she said, and lowered the weapon. Krell laughed bitterly. You think this is mercy? No. This is a message. She struck him once, hard. He dropped. Aftermath, Carthus 4. Hours later, the Valkyrie floated silently above the planet. Broadcasts poured from its long-range comms, images of Graal atrocities, their command systems, and Krell Vox, bound and unconscious, handed over to neutral authorities. The galaxy saw it all. Not vengeance. Justice. Kathex returned to full function. I have purged the foreign virus. Elara nodded. Status? No Graal resistance left in system. Carthus is safe. Good. Keep us cloaked. We're not done. Council feed Earth. Fury. Praise. Fear. Debate raged. Elara had gone rogue. But she had won. And everyone knew it. TSV Valkyrie, observation deck. Elara stood alone, helmet off, hair damp with sweat. Kathex's voice softened. You risked everything. I made a choice. You allowed a monster to live. I showed the galaxy we're not one. Krell Vox was silent. Bound in grav restraints, he sat on the cold floor of a neutral processing ship, surrounded by a dozen armed guards from 6 species. None spoke to him. None looked him in the eye. He wasn't a warlord anymore, just a captured artifact of terror. When they scanned him into custody, one of the guards muttered, They said humans don't leave survivors. Elara Miles watched through a secure link from TSV Valkyrie. She said nothing. Kathex flickered into view. Graal forces across 3 systems have begun retreat. Without Krell, their command structure collapses. Then it worked. Yes. The broadcast was received in every known sector. Even systems previously aligned with the Dominion have severed ties. Elara nodded. Let them tear themselves apart. Krell's trial will be public. He will be dissected, philosophically, legally, and possibly biologically. She didn't blink. That's justice. Council Assembly. Holographic address. The chambers buzzed with tension. Half the council demanded Elara's commendation. The other half wanted sanctions. She hadn't followed orders. She had disrupted interstellar diplomacy. But none could deny the result. The Carthus broadcast, recorded from orbit, showed unfiltered footage of children in shelters, Graal soldiers executing hostages, the moment Valkyrie's shadow passed overhead, and silence followed. Counselor Dammel stood. We have always debated. The humans acted. Counselor Sareth sneered. And if next time they act against us? Elara's transmission played one final time. I came not to rule. I came because you wouldn't. TSV Valkyrie, observation deck. The ship floated above a gas giant in the far side of the Veil. Quiet. Safe. Elara stood beside the viewport, sipping something warm from a steel cup. Cathex appeared. High Command has issued its final statement. Let me guess. Political language soaked in acid. They are displeased. But they will not press charges. The optics are inconvenient. She smirked. So I live to disobey another day. Cathex tilted its head. You also received commendations from 7 planetary coalitions. Elara walked back to her seat. I didn't do it for them. Carthus 4, Reconstruction broadcast. The Capitol dome was still cracked, but life had returned. Streets echoed with hammer strikes and laughter. Children ran. Drones repaired rooftops. Former refugees planted roots. In a quiet moment, a Carthus official looked into the news lens. She came from nowhere. Fought without flag or promise. She gave us more than freedom. She gave us our future back. Terran High Command, private channel. Elara's private debrief was short. 3 admirals, 1 AI coordinator, and a single line of questioning. Why didn't you kill Krell? She answered without pause. Because everyone expected me to. You disobeyed mission parameters. I fulfilled the spirit of them. You acted without support. And succeeded without casualties. No one argued after that. TSV Valkyrie, later. Elara sat alone on the command deck, watching encrypted chatter scroll across the screen. Rumors flew, the Grawl were fragmenting into warlords. Border colonies once under Dominion rule were now asking for Terran aid. Former enemies wanted embassies. Power shifted fast. Cathex broke the silence. You altered the trajectory of an entire quadrant. I hit a nerve. Perhaps too precisely. You still think I should have pulled the trigger? I believe predictability is dangerous. She looked up. Then you should be worried. Because I'm not predictable. Encrypted message, unknown origin. It came without header, without signature. Simple. Direct. Your restraint saved a planet. But remember, the next warlord might not be interested in trials. She archived the message without comment. Terran Council vote, confidential summary. Motion, permanent seat for humanity on the Interstellar Council. Result passed, narrow margin. Conditions, observational role only, non-militarized delegate. Elara declined the nomination to represent Earth. TSV Valkyrie, final orders. Commander Miles, Cathex said. High Command offers 2 paths, recall for commendation and promotion, or continued independent deployment. Elara didn't hesitate. We stay in the Veil. Mission parameters? We watch. We wait. We remind them. Of what? She looked at the stars. That we're still here. Final scene, somewhere in the Veil. A minor mining colony sends out a distress beacon. Unknown attackers, no response from local patrols. A child's voice crackles in panic. And then the stars shift. A shadow passes between systems. Black, angular, silent. A single Terran ship, unmarked, unannounced. It doesn't broadcast. It doesn't warn. It arrives. And the galaxy remembers what it means to fear the dark, because the humans haven't forgotten how to survive in it.